Hello, hello, welcome. So, welcome, happy Friday, happy holidays, everyone. I'm so sorry this stream was kind of last minute notice. I hope at least some people enjoy it in the future on VOD, but maybe some people will hop in, who knows. But anyway, I'm excited. Welcome to the last night of Livemas, because usually, if you're familiar with Vlogmas on YouTube, it is where vloggers will do a vlog like every day or every other day leading up to Christmas in the month of December. And I wanted to try a little bit of my own variation on that, and that is my Livemas, where I've been live streaming every Monday and Friday leading up to Christmas. But I kind of realized later on that Monday was Christmas was on Monday, so I think that's a good time to take a break for the holidays from the streams, and then I'll reevaluate live streaming in January. Right now, this week specifically, like, TV has kind of ended, like this fall season of TV has had its finales. There's been a lot of finales the past few weeks, and I think this week was kind of the last call for TV finales. One that we're gonna talk about today. But yeah, it's been a nice season of TV, and then in January there is a lot of TV coming, so that means more content, both in video form and live stream form. I'm not sure yet how I'm gonna shake it all out, but it's been really fun this month trying out more live stream heavy content, and I think in reality I would like to do a balance of both regular videos and live streaming, just taking the moment of last day of Livemas to reflect. But I think live streams are especially fun for topics like today, that are finale discussions or reunion discussions of shows, while regular videos are better for like actual season recaps and stuff. So I think that's probably where I'm headed. But in January we have a lot of new reality TV hitting our screens. RuPaul's Drag Race premieres the very first week of January, as per tradition. Also, The Traitors US season 2 comes out like mid-January, and I might cover that, I might not. It depends how I like it. I haven't seen season 1, but I've heard it's good. And the cast for season 2 just really intrigues me. So I will be watching and hopefully talking about it at least a little bit. And then Vanderpump Rules season 11 comes out end of January. Definitely be covering that. Not sure what format yet, but definitely gonna cover it. I am like still neck deep in Vanderpump Rules right now, and literally before the stream I was watching, and after the stream I'm gonna go keep watching. I'm on season 5. And then we're not done. There's another and then. Valentine's Day in February, new Love is Blind, it's season 6, I believe, comes out. So we will be seated for that, and that is my main content here on this channel. So lots of good stuff coming in January. That means I'll probably take off a little bit for the holidays. Not that I've been that active in December. Maybe I'll post a couple little videos, but nothing major until this new TV starts up. But yeah, let's go back and reflect on one of the most fun shows of the fall, and that is House of Villains. Welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel, where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Zeleny. I typically cover TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things on this channel, so subscribe if that's your vibe. Reality TV is one of my favorite things to cover, and that's what we're talking about today. And this is a season 1 of a show, so it's kind of like a first trial, and the response to it has been pretty fierce. Like, people, I feel like in general the show has been buzzy with people that enjoy reality TV like me. I sure had a good time. I think it was like an excellent cast to start off a show with a bang, and I think it's very promising that there could be a season 2. I think it's pretty successful. I do wish the show was on streaming though. Right now it airs on E! You can also check out my video that I made about episodes 1 and 2 of House of Villains on my channel. Maybe I can link it below later, but that's where I give a lot of information about the show and thoughts on it. But today I want to discuss more about the finale, and like I did in my video, kind of go through each player's or villain's journey on the show through the season, their strategy, and just talk about also how they were in the finale, because everyone pretty much came back for the finale and played a part in deciding the winner. So I think that is the plan. I have my little PowerPoint here. Excellent cast. And this finale, okay, spoiler alert, from now on, I will be talking about outcomes of House of Villains and the outcome of each player. I'm actually going to be talking about each player in elimination order. So, be warned, like, there will be spoilers, of course. But, yeah. Mostly I want to talk about the finale because there were a lot of really fun and gaggy things about it. And I'm sorry, for this stream I don't have a lot of like clips to show, unfortunately, because House of Villains is a little bit hard to access. That's why I'm saying I wish it was on streaming or something so I could get B-roll more easily, but it's on E, which is like a cable channel, and it's a little bit hard to find on any streaming apps. The real reality TV fans found their ways, or just got lucky like me that I have like a basic cable that comes with my apartment here. But yeah, let's first talk about our first out, Jax Taylor. And it's so funny because I feel like I'm so familiar with Jax right now because I am rewatching all of Vanderpump Rules, or watching it for the first time, honestly. That I wish we had had more time with him on House of Villains because he is a really funny villain. But it's just so funny. I think what I said in my Vanderpump video is that, like, Jax is evil enough to get cast on House of Villains, but dumb enough that he was the first out on House of Villains, because he just could not keep up with the strategy of everybody, and he did go home. I remember they didn't show at the end of episode 2 who went home, but in my video I had predicted, it seemed pretty clear it was going to be Jax by how he had literally no alliances. So it was Jax as the first elimination. So I pretty much covered his journey in that first video. But he did come back in the finale, and he didn't make too much of an impression. It was just funny to have him back because he was like goofing around a lot. And oh my god, I was so concerned about this, and I wonder if it's going to be on Vanderpump Rules or anything, but he says that the day he got eliminated, like, as he was walking out to go home, he got a call that his wife, Brittany, from Vanderpump, it was in the hospital, and they thought it was something serious. They did all these tests, and it turned out she had, like, a mini stroke, and now I'm really scared and sad because, you know, I'm really getting to know Brittany on the season I'm on of Vanderpump, and, like, she's so nice. I'm scared for her health. That was scary to hear. And, I mean, he said he just had to be by her side after that, and it was probably a good thing he got eliminated. That's what he was trying to say with all this. And so, in the end, so I'm going to spoil the winner here, because I want to talk about who each person voted for with their jury vote. It turned out House of Villains had very similar vote out rules to Big Brother, where you have like head of household, aka supervillain of the week, and then they choose like the bottom 2 or 3 depending on the week, and then there's a redemption challenge. I don't know if Big Brother works like this, but I feel like it does, or something along these lines of voting people out, but it's way more controlled. It's like there's bottom 2 and then people vote between the 2, and head of household is, I don't know. Anyway, the show had been a lot like Big Brother up until the very end, where it kind of went back to being like Survivor, and maybe that Big Brother does the same thing. But for the finale, the format was basically they did a main challenge, and someone became supervillain of the week, and they would choose someone to bring with them to the finale. So that's 2 people that are finalists, and then the bottom 3 compete in a redemption challenge, and whoever wins that, it becomes a 3rd finalist. And then everyone else is part of the jury, and everyone votes for a winner out of the 3 finalists. So it kind of reminded me more of Survivor around the episode of like the fire making challenge episode every season, which Survivor finale happened this week, and I won't talk about that here because I don't want to like cross-contaminate much if like you're worried about spoilers for that or anything. But oh my god, Survivor finale happened this week, and I was very excited about the result and happy, and I was kind of team that person really early on because of a Dua Lipa related reason. I don't know how to explain that without spoilers, so I'll move on. But yeah, Survivor finale just happened as well, and I'm excited about it. That's all I'll say. So in the end, Jax, with his jury vote, ended up voting for Tanisha, who became the winner, and just by 1 vote. I was kind of, it was just so funny because in those very first episodes where Jax is in trouble, he comes to Tanisha and she hears him out, even though she's just like, he's so fine, but he's so dumb. And Tanisha just had this really funny crush on him the whole time. And in her finale speech, she like complimented him to his face and told him he was so handsome and whatever. And I think that alone is what made Jax vote for Tanisha. I think Jax is a simple man. And if you compliment him and tell him he's hot, he will give you the winning vote. And Tanisha won $200,000 from that. It was just funny to see the crush come kind of full circle, and Jax kind of like appreciated that. So it was just really funny. Like, I like to think it's just Jax's vanity, like, alone made him vote Tanisha, and it actually worked. Like, she won that. But yeah, Jax we didn't see that much of him on House of Villains, especially after the first 2 episodes, because he was gone. Okay, next I want to talk about, the next out, which is Tiffany York Pollard. And this was so unfortunate for this season because she is so good at reality TV, but she was gone pretty early on. I mean, House of Villains did have this very strange pace of, like, main challenge is 1 episode, the next episode is the elimination, then challenge, then elimination. It was really dragged out that I was confused how they were going to do the finale, but it made sense in the end, though the finale was a little rushed, and those last people eliminated, it was kind of unceremonious. But anyway, we did get 4 fun episodes of Tiffany Pollard, as well as the finale where everyone appeared again. So not too bad, but her one-liners are just unmatched. I think she could have really made it far if she had, like, slightly thought of any strategy and been less chaotic, because the way she would read people, both to their face and like in confessionals, was just everything. Her creativity is unmatched. It's funny to see her like riffing with Joel McHale after their long history with the soup and him making fun of all her shows, and I don't know, it's just funny. And then she would just have no strategy and like just come into the room yelling and fighting, I assume she was just trying to make good reality TV and make like a dramatic scene for the TV, but she would be making no sense about what she was yelling about to people, to the point where people were just like, you just gotta go, like you're like, no one could work with her, because even her alliances were like, what are you doing, girl? And she would pick fights with her own alliance. Like, Corinne was kind of her ride or die until Tiffany Pollard just kept turning on her and yelling at her and demanding. It was just so confusing that she was just too chaotic, I think, for the game, and people were not into that. But it's unfortunate because the way she read Omarosa was, I mean, it went viral beyond the show. I think, like, if people didn't watch the show, weren't watching, they probably saw that clip on social media somewhere, because it was hilarious. I mean, they had put it in the preview, but it was amazing to see it live. And also the part where she goes through the wall when she gets eliminated, she's just like, ah. It's so funny. When she called Jax like the devil and like hurt his feelings over it. And then so she comes back in the finale, thank God. It was nice to see her. And they have this eating challenge, which I'm upset about, because I hate eating challenges. I thought we as a society had moved on from nasty eating challenges, but maybe it was just on Survivor, which is the only show of this nature that I watch. I imagine the challenge probably still has some food challenges, but they gross me out so much. I hate a nasty foods eating challenge. Even if it's not even a hot dog eating contest, I don't like to see that. I don't need to see that. But anyway, so they were doing this eating contest, and Tiffany Pollard thought like one of the plates was testicles, like bull testicles or whatever, and some people had to eat that to get points. It was kind of like a whole thing. The roles were convoluted, but that's beside the point. But Tiffany Pollard thought they were human testicles for like most of the dinner, and then she was like, oh, I thought these were human. Like the testicles are serving them cooked on a platter. And Joel is just like, you thought we were giving you human testicles to eat. That was just such gold, and I'm so glad she came back for the finale. That was a highlight. And in the end, in the finale, she gave her vote to Tanisha as well. I really appreciated that too. Like, she just had her back and was cool. Did she say anything? She said so many things throughout the whole season. I really wish I could have a compilation. Actually, New York was the deciding vote at first in the final voting. So there were like 4 votes on... There were 4 votes for Bananas to win, and then 3 votes for Tanisha to win. And New York was the last one left to vote, and she voted for Tanisha, which tied the votes for the winner, which that was kind of iconic. New York tied the scale. She could have easily just like finished the game right then and there, voted for Bananas. But yeah, everyone, I think, missed New York while she was gone in the episodes that she wasn't there for, but her one-liners just in like the 5 episodes of the season alone were plenty, and I love that she put Omarosa in her place. Like, someone needed to do it, and only New York could, I think. So next is Corinne, who is our girlie from the Bachelor franchise. Corinne was the next out. She was there quite a while because, like I said, the eliminations went pretty slow. So she was in 6 episodes. How many freaking episodes were there? I don't know. I feel like kind of a lot. I mean, if it's ending only right now, it might have been a lot. But Corinne was just... She didn't make too big of an impression on me, especially as a villain. I mean, starting off, we already talked about her beef with Omarosa in my last video and everything. But... Oh. She was just so down bad for Bananas, and I was just like, girl, please get some pride. What is going on? She's like in love with Johnny Bananas, and he could not care less about that. Here's where I started kind of taking notes. She also had like a very strong feud with Shake a lot of the time, starting like in the later half of the season. I loved, there was this deep cut kind of moment because she was in the bottom, no, she was on the hit list with Tanisha and Shake at one point, and this is where the redemption challenge was like reaching into a bunch of cages with animals in them, like snakes and mice. I don't even know what the animals were because they were in the dark. But this redemption challenge just was so lucky for Shake, which I'll get to talking about. But for Corinne and Tanisha, they were both like terrified of reaching into... I mean, I would be too. It was like pitch black, and they had to be... rustling around and around animals to find like whatever object they needed. And Tanisha and Corinne were freaking out. And there was this one part where Tanisha's like, black people don't like this type of stuff. And then Corinne is just like, well, I don't either. And then they're just like bonding over their hatred of like little animals and the nastiness, because they're both just like very anti-animal. I just thought that was just such a funny interaction where like the whole thing with them freaking out, and then they go and do the challenge and fail miserably. Like Tanisha just quits straight up, and Corinne tries, but she's just like having a breakdown and not getting anything, and Shake just dominates. So that's why she ends up like in the bottom 2 and then sent home. It's crazy how her flirting and obsession with Bananas did not help her at all. She was also not very present in the finale much. She wasn't edited to be like she didn't have any standout moments in the finale to me that I can remember. Aside from her coming in and being like jealous that Bananas and Anfisa have been getting romantic because he did like a swan pool date with Anfisa. So unfortunately, Corinne's whole arc this season was just like simping for Bananas, and that's it. They didn't go anywhere aside from that. So sorry to Corinne. I guess at least it fits the brand of like being from The Bachelor. Maybe you could say she got conditioned by The Bachelor and found the nearest Bachelor in Bananas. Something like that. I don't know. Okay, next, let's talk about Bobby Lights. Bobby Lights had the most chaotic run on this TV show. He was so funny. He really won me over. That episode where he won Supervillain of the Week and then put himself on the hit list and then lost the redemption challenge, ended up in the bottom 2, and then went home. So he basically eliminated himself, thinking it would be this big flashy move that he would guarantee like win the redemption challenge, but obviously he didn't. Streets are saying though that he had somewhere else to be, and that's why he put himself up on the hit list. I don't really know. It was just such a gag, though, when he did that. Like, he did a big gag of the season to me when he was supervillain and then walked up to the stage and put himself up on the hit list. Like, that took balls, and it was pretty iconic. Um, and just his insults were killing me. He also, like, betrayed fair play. He Bobby, like, really exemplified, like, reality TV villainy in a very fun way, um, where he wasn't, like, getting too nasty with people, aside from, like, reading their fashion, which was deserved for some of those men. Um, but, you know, Johnny Fairplay had to choose someone to be supervillain, and he struggles with that decision and is like, okay, well, Bobby, I'll make you supervillain of the week if you promise you won't put up Bananas, because Bananas threatened him that if Bobby puts me up, I'm coming for you. And Bananas did follow through on that, as we saw later. So Bobby promises fair play, don't worry, I won't put up Bananas. And then, of course, he puts up Bananas, and himself, and who else? Oh, Omarosa, right? Oh, he puts up Bananas, himself, and Shake. Not Omarosa yet. No, yeah, because Bobby and Omarosa were tight. Um, but anyway, there was this. So that whole couple of episodes were probably some of my favorites because Bobby was, like, insulting everybody and insulting Bananas. And he call he calls Bananas Margaret Gilbert as, like, an insult. And then Bananas is like, what? Who is that? And then I think all of us in the audience were like, who is that? I bet it's so shady. Like, and then Bobby gets back in the van and he's like, I called him Margaret Gilbert. I don't even know who that is. That's not it. That's just a name I made up. And it was just so funny. I died at the Margaret Gilbert of it all. Um, he also put Bananas in drag, and they had so much fun. I think that's also why, like, it was like a betrayal. I don't even remember how it all went down, but it was just Bobby and Bananas. Like, they were feeling so much love when they were getting in drag and everything, and then it turned, and Bobby was calling him Margaret Gilbert. I'm trying to think. It might have been, was it after the redemption challenge? I feel like it was. I'm just checking. Okay, yeah. It is. It's right after. Okay. So the redemption challenge for that time was actually, it was very Jackbox coded, because it was like they would show a photo from the season and they would have to write a funny caption, and then the audience would vote who had the funniest caption, and whoever got the most funniest captions would win the redemption challenge. And Bananas wins and saves himself from the hit list, because he has the funniest things. But Bobby's clearly, like, drinking so much at this, and that's right after that he's pissed, like, telling everyone, like, you're laughing at the wrong jokes. And that's when he insults Bananas fashion and calls him Margaret Gilbert, which is just a made up name in his head. Also, like, there was one point where Bobby, like, typed organisms instead of orgasms, and he was like fighting with producers about like autocorrect, and the producers were like, organisms is a word, so that's why it didn't autocorrect. And Bobby was mad at them. He was clearly wasted, and it was funny. Oh, and he eats Shake's voodoo doll. He like takes a bite out of it. It's like, Bobby was so unhinged, but it was the funniest fucking thing ever. And yeah, people vote him out. I think Tanisha is the swing vote, that vote, and she really loves Bobby, but she's between saving Bobby or Shake. And with Shake, she's able to kind of reason with him and get him on board to like her alliance basically, and to help her take out Omarosa and Fairplay, because Bobby was really close with Omarosa, and Tanisha and Omarosa were mortal enemies. So it was more important for Tanisha to take out an Omarosa alliance, despite her liking Bobby, rather than Shake, who everyone hated. So people were willing to use him for a vote. That's how Shake lasted that long. And yeah, like that elimination's so dramatic. Bobby always had like the best looks for eliminations. And then he gets strapped in. Joel McHale, like a moment for Joel McHale, because he had some very funny roasts for everyone that would end up on the bottom and strapped in. I think he said to Shake in this round, like, "Oh, Shake, don't worry, there's a wife waiting for you on the other side of the wall." And I was like, that's a good one, Joel. That's a good one. But yeah, Bobby ends up going home, and he does not return for the finale, like at all. He's nowhere to be found, according to Joel. And that kind of proved, I saw on the subreddit, people were like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Bobby likely self-eliminated or put himself in danger because he had somewhere else to be. I think him not coming back kind of helps that theory. But yeah, good for Bobby. He really won me over. He was one of the villains that I didn't know before this. But he ended up being so funny. And I appreciated him on the season. And he gave a really good gag with that self-nomination. Okay, next let's talk about, oh my god, Omarosa. Omarosa was a wild one this season. She was running shit for a good part of like the first half of the season, but came up short. And I kind of predicted this. I feel like with any strategy show, if you peak a little too early and run shit early on, it kind of backfires like later on in the season because you become too much of a threat too soon. And Omarosa especially is very good at pissing people off, so that didn't help her case either. I mean, she still lasted quite a bit. She was like the last elimination before the finale. But her journey became a lot of So after that redemption challenge with the animals that Shake won by a landslide, and Tanisha kind of quit, Tanisha felt her reputation was really sunk in the house because everyone was seeing her as a quitter, and they didn't respect that about her. So she decided to play this prank on the house. That is a derivative of her original viral moment where she woke up the Bad Girls Club house banging pots and pans and singing "You Ain't Gonna Get Sleep 'Cause of Me," her song. And she recreated it with a full like choir, and it was just so funny. She came in with instruments. Key instrument here is a tambourine. And so she was doing that. And then Omarosa was like, when I see someone trying to make a spectacle in reality TV, the lesson I've learned is to just get in their moment and take their moment away from them, basically. So she like runs into the choir and is dancing with them and is like singing along and banging the instruments, whatever, banging the pots and pans. Just to be petty to Tanisha, right? Because they end up hating each other because one time Omarosa was super villain of the week. She promised all the women they were safe from the hit list, but then she backtracked on her word completely and put up both Tanisha and Corinne. I think that was like early on when Corinne went home, probably that. With that group? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so ever since then, Tanisha hates that Omarosa betrayed her, and they become mortal enemies in the house. So anyway, when they're in the choir and this situation happens, like the next day, Omarosa alleges that Tanisha hit her hand with a tambourine. And like she's injured now. And she goes to the medic on the show, who later says he's not a doctor, which I'm confused. Like, doesn't the show medic have to have some... Anyway. But Omarosa insists that, like, her wrist is broken, and she keeps having to go to the doctor for it. She has, like, a brace on. And they replay the footage many times in slow motion, and there is no hitting of tambourine, no contact with the wrist. So it just makes Omarosa really look petty, and I kind of love it because it is a very villain move to be like, I'm gonna sue you for XYZ reason that didn't even really happen, and there's cameras everywhere that have evidence of it. But she was like on the phone with her lawyer the whole time, and she kept like using it as an excuse to get out of challenges. And so it really makes Omarosa look completely not credible for just milking this shit and being that petty, and it's very like making it up. So it was just so goofy and ridiculous, and she carried it through to the bitter end with herself because she got strapped into the chair, and I just feel like she will do anything to not be humiliated in any way. And so I think she was worried about being humiliated going through the wall at elimination, that she like started coughing when they were trying to strap her in, and she was like, I can't have anything on my chest. And so she coughs and cries her way into not getting flipped through the wall and walks out. And it's getting very like main character syndrome. She just wants to be a diva and walk through the front door with dignity and whatever. But in the end, it just makes her look like a snowflake, to be honest. To use a favorite Republican term, it makes her look like a snowflake, everything she did in this house. And it was, in the end, Joel McHale was a really good sport about it and gave us the ending that he could, and he strapped into the chair with Omarosa's puppet and went through it, and it was fun to see Joel kind of participate in that function because it is a really funny part of the show. But all in all, Omarosa was perfect for this show. Like, even though her villainy was like cowardly and petty, going after like the legal stuff and fake injuries, she just is so unapologetically villainous and had so many good quotes throughout the season. Um, she like hated people for no reason. She loved people for no reason. She loved Anfisa like the whole time just for being her roommate and being quiet, honestly. I think for being like just submissive to her. She loves that. The only quote I have from her, which is not that interesting, it's like, I wouldn't believe Shake if his tongue was notarized. She's just very cunning and quick-witted with her words, and I'll give her that, even though the way she played was like dirty. It was just kind of like a slimy strategy she had. She was going after like production and going after like suing Tanisha, trying to get her kicked off. Like she literally tried to get her kicked off for hitting her with a tambourine. But no footage was found of it, so they didn't kick Tanisha out, obviously. And that was the big thing. Her and Tanisha were feuding so bad. And then the gag that I loved was that in the end, Omarosa voted for Tanisha. And that kind of won over some points that Omarosa had lost from me. Like, I had lost quite pretty much all respect for her, I think, with the shady game she played. But that final moment, she gave her vote to her greatest adversary, Tanisha. And I feel like that was such a villain reason to vote for somebody. It was perfect. And I love that. I love that she did that. And Tanisha only won by one vote in the end. So every vote mattered. And Omarosa did that. I'm shocked because Tanisha was just like, they were at each other's throats the whole time. Like, when she got eliminated, Tanisha was like, "You're fired again." That's hilarious. And also, I don't know, I just never would have thought Omarosa would give it to Tanisha. But I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, next. Oh, let's talk about our favorite show. Favorite villain from our favorite show. That is Shake from Love is Blind. So Shake had a very interesting game. He was kind of a goat, kind of an underdog. And goat means bad in Survivor terms. I don't mean goat as in good, which is in most other terms, goat is good. Shake was basically always in the bottom, always on the hit list. It was just amazing to me that, like, in a house full of villains, how are you still hated? He was super rude to Corinne, like being shady about her using her sexuality, shady to Jax. He was caught shit-talking Jax, who allegedly was just trying to help him capitalize off his, 15 minutes of reality TV fame. But yeah, everyone hated Shake and thought he was just so obnoxious, which he was. And he had his shining moment, I think, was this supervillain challenge where they had to like melt ice blocks and get keys, just using their own body. And he was like killing it at this challenge. He was in first place, and he got all the keys and like put them where they needed to be. But the instructions of the challenge were to open the box or whatever and take out the thing. But he forgot to open it. So he didn't follow the instructions, and he was already celebrating that he won, and because he didn't follow the instructions, someone else, Omarosa, like finished her thing and opened it following the directions, and she won. So, I mean, I felt slightly bad for him because, it's one of those things where he lost on a technicality, but also you can only blame yourself. You didn't follow directions. And he was too busy celebrating and gloating and being like, you're toast, you're fucking toast to everybody. And in the meantime, while he was yelling toast to everybody, Omarosa won. That actually won with the instructions provided. So that was just a funny self-owned moment on Shake's part. He got lucky though, like in that animal redemption challenge, he got lucky because he's a vet. He had no problem touching the animals. So he saved himself. Other hit list challenges, he didn't win. Redemption challenges. He didn't really win any others. He always ended up strapped into the chair. Everyone made fun of his outfits and fashion. Well deserved. But in the end, he was always this like kind of swing vote and neutral player, because if everyone hates him, that means he's not in a strong alliance with anybody. So different alliances wanted to use him. Mostly the banana side used him a lot. And Omarosa, most of the women, honestly, Omarosa, Corinne, and Fisa, they all hated him. And Fisa hated him because, again, he was so rude to the women. Clearly sexist, I think. He was so mean to Corinne. I remember that. Let me see. In the finale, he ends up being the first eliminated out of the top 5, because they're doing trivia from the house, and basically they're putting up a quote and they have to guess who in the house said it. And Shake, not listening, I guess, much, got them all wrong and was quickly out, and that was his end. It was sad for these two. It was Shake and Fair Play who got eliminated at this trivia thing. They didn't get to go through the wall. I wish they had gone through the wall. But Shake honestly made it far on this weird hate everyone strategy and everyone hates me, and that just ended up working for him. And he voted for bananas in the end. I think it makes sense. He's kind of like a logical guy. And I do think bananas played the best strategic game. I'll get more in depth with him in a second. But yeah, it seemed like an easy vote for Shake, and he voted with the bananas alliance a lot. So he voted for him. In the finale challenge before he was out, he decided to eat a bunch of hot wings in the challenge as his thing to have to eat, and that fucked up his stomach. We were made aware that he was struggling that whole night. But yeah, it was interesting to see Shake in a new environment. I think he found his villainy almost too easily. Like it came out, and at first I was concerned because he's from a show that's not competitive like this and not about challenges and stuff, so I didn't think he would know how to play the strategy and alliances and whatnot, and I was right, he couldn't, but he did it so bad that people would decide to keep him around because he was bad at the game, which is like every competition show has like that couple people that like they're so bad at the game you keep them around to distract everyone else from your own threat level, and I think Shake was that for this game. So next let's talk about Johnny Fairplay. And oh my god, Johnny Fairplay, everyone I think has seen the villainy of Johnny Fairplay, and it's a bad one because he makes him, like, his whole strategy in villainy is being pathetic. And in the later part of the season, he started being very pathetic. He was such a crybaby. First, there was this one challenge where he won to be supervillain of the week, but then it was like the suitcase, and then he opened the suitcase, and it said, haha, just kidding, you didn't win. You picked the winner. And I do think that was really dirty of the game. I do not like when competition games and challenges, like, fake out people with the rules or change the rules last minute. I don't think that's, like, fair game, but this is House of Villains, and they make everything about it, like, fit for a villain. Like the editing, the way Joel McHale roasts them all the time, the way they show, like, a stupid behind the scenes moment where things go wrong, the way they, like, name challenges and name their rooms and format, like hit list and supervillain. Everything's all themed around supervillains. So having a challenge where the rules were unfair, basically, is fitting for a show like this. But I still don't like, I think it's crossing the line when you say, oh, this is how you win a challenge, and then someone wins, and then it's like, haha, just kidding, you're not the winner. I think that's fucked up, even for villains. Sue me. But anyway, so Johnny Fairplay throws a hissy fit at this. He's pissed because he just wants to win, and he comes off like a total crybaby brat about this. And that is his strategy. He ends up on the hit list in the bottom, and in his speeches he cries and sobs to everybody, like, feel sorry for me. But this is his whole claim to fame of villainy. It's like, I'm gonna cry and make people feel sorry for me, and that's how I'll get ahead. And it kind of worked for him, because he didn't go home over Omarosa. He was against her in that bottom tomb. Even though, and Bananas told him, if you choose Bobby and Bobby comes for me, I'm gonna come for you. And Fairplay took that risk and lost the gamble, and then Bananas did come for him and put him on the hit list. And so Fairplay was doing a lot of crying in the end, and it was pathetic, and people hated it, I think. And yeah, welcome to Johnny Fairplay's strategy on reality TV. And I thought he would make it far, and he did. I think just the crybaby stuff put people off, and him pissing off Bananas and getting on his bad side was a nail in his coffin, because Bananas was the most strategic player. And yeah, I just think Fairplay did not come off great on this season. People are gonna hate him, but it's also, again, House of Villains. These are all a lot of these players are hated, and that's their whole gig. So it's interesting how some balance the villain side with, like, the side that wants to be liked by an audience, because some of them really lean into villainy completely and don't care about being likable, like Fairplay and like Omarosa. But then there's other villains that are just likable for some reason, or whether intentional or not, like Bobby, like Tanisha, like Bananas, that go back and forth between villainy and then, like, goodness or, like, charm. It's interesting. But Fairplay is definitely one that, like, stays firm in his villainy and, like, doesn't have much likable things about him. Sorry, Fairplay. But, you know, he is a big survivor villain. And another thing about him is he what was I gonna say about? Was it the best survivor? Anyway, I'll come back to it. In the finale, he voted for Bananas because he respects the game, and Bananas is the person who played the game like a villain. So his vote was about who was the most worthy of America's next great supervillain, or whatever the title is. And that was clearly Bananas for him. Even though it was similar to the Omarosa Tanisha vote in that Fair Play and Bananas were really against each other for a long time. So it was kind of, he gave a really angry speech about voting for Bananas because he didn't want to, clearly. But he did because Bananas played the game the best and the best strategy. I don't know what I was going to say about Fair Play. It's bugging me that I can't remember. I'm going to look real quick. I don't know. Okay. Next is Anfisa, who was our third place villain contestant from 90 Day Fiancé. So Anfisa was the GOAT in this finalist thing, in that, like, she was carried to the finale because she would likely get no votes. Or, the finalists wanted her there to get no votes. She played a really low-key game, too low-key. She didn't really have much strategy. She was very quiet. She wasn't very villainous. She just would kind of not try at challenges sometimes. And tried to flirt with Bananas, but it didn't really work because it was so obvious. And Shake would call her out about it, and they hated each other, and she just wanted Shake out. They had that ball challenge where they had to blow balls everywhere, and all she cared about was getting Shake out. She didn't care about actually winning the challenge. She's her body, like, Jesus, she was showing it constantly. That was like her main thing in the house she would do. Not one hair follicle in HD, like, I don't know how you get that to happen, but she is gorgeous, and she was mostly there just to have a vacation, it seemed like. And she was like Omarosa's number one, kind of, and that helped her get far, I think. And then in the finale redemption challenge, she nailed it at the trivia. She got 100% right at the trivia questions, the quoting who said what in the house. And I do gotta say, the quiet person is always the most observant. And she proved that in that final challenge and earned her way to the finalists, the final three. So, and not much to say about Anfisa. She was so low-key. She would be like, Bananas, don't put me on the hit list, and then put her ass on the counter, like, in front of him, and shit like that. I mean, I respect the hustle. It would work a lot of the time. In the end, though, she did have a kind of iconic moment in that she was the deciding factor for the winner. And that was huge because, I had no idea who she would go for because she had like this swan date with Bananas, a lot of flirtation going on, but he didn't really reciprocate. I wonder if he had reciprocated more, like flirting, or like received it more. She would have voted for him to win, but she voted for Tanisha. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the girls voted for Tanisha out of like kind of girl power solidarity. And I'll get to that with Tanisha, talking about her soon, but yeah, like it's crazy. Like she voted for Tanisha and she was the winning vote. Um, I can't believe it came down to Anfisa choosing who won $200,000. That's like a huge deal. So yeah, she was chill. She didn't seem very villainous. And people have said, I think in my original video too, some people say maybe she's not that much of a villain, like she was just super bratty or entitled or something. But then also some people in my comments were like, I've never heard Anfisa described as chill. But I swear in this season of this show, she seemed chill. Maybe, I guess not in her show, apparently, from what y'all say. Okay, next, let's talk about Bananas, who's from The Challenge and The Real World originally. So, Bananas is interesting because he played the best game. He was playing very strategically. You can tell he's so seasoned because, I mean, apparently he's done a bajillion seasons of The Challenge because that's how that show works. People do seasons over and over a lot. And I think what really helped him is just that he comes from a show called The Challenge and therefore dominated the challenges in this House of Villains show. I almost wish they had done even more trivia style or like non-physical challenges on this because Bananas just had such an advantage. And I came in not liking him very much the first couple episodes. Because I also don't like the challenge that much from what I've seen. And, like, I just wasn't, I wasn't into him. But by the end of the season, he played, like, a very great game. And I totally respect his strategy. He was villainous but loyal to his alliances. He would follow through when, he threatened fair play. And said, I won't target you unless you target me first, and it is what it is. And then he followed through and put fair play on the hit list. He was just the only one, honestly, in this whole show, like, thinking with the finale in mind, strategizing, winning the right challenges. Like, much respect to Bananas, and I would have been okay if he won. Like, he was the most deserving winner game-wise, like, of how he played the game. Because in the Bananas-Tanisha alliance, Bananas was calling more shots. And he was, working all these relationships. He was working a relationship with Corinne, with Fair Play, with Anfisa, with Tanisha. And I don't know, he was just very good at, like, doing game strategy and executing it the way he wanted. He got, basically half the votes for the win, and they were well-deserved, and I thought he was going to win because he played a great game. Like Fair Play said, and everyone that voted for him said, he was the best at the strategy, best at the challenges, pretty good socially. He had good relationships with a lot of the people. He really won me over with this, even though I do think he had a bit of an unfair advantage coming from the challenge in the challenges. But regardless, like, Bananas very much deserved the win for how he strategized the season. And he could very well come back. He's used to coming back to stuff, so I could see it for him. And he could do well. But yeah, I liked that. So in the end, he kind of dug his own grave in a self-aware way. He seemed aware of what he was doing, but he followed through his promise to take Tanisha to the final 3. So when he got to choose who he brought as a finalist with him, he chose his number 1 alliance, Tanisha, and I think that redeemed him as a villain a lot. Like, it's weird because watching a show called House of Villains, I want to see villains. I want to see them be bad. But there's also those moments when they're good, and then it's like, oh, you're good, or you do have a heart down there. It's like when you watch a movie where the villain ends up having a heart of gold at the end you didn't know about. Like Megamind is a good one. Bananas was the Megamind of House of Villains. He, like, started out seeming really evil, and then in the end he chose the nice thing. Brought Tanisha with him to the finalists, knowing that she has a maybe more compelling backstory that would get people to vote for her. And I think that's very admirable, and I think it gets audiences on his side and makes him likable. Which, like, as a villain, it's like a balance. It's like, yes, you want them to be mean, but also it's really fun when they, like, do something good and you're just like, oh my god, he did something good and he was loyal to somebody, and even at personal risk he followed through on his word. It means a lot, I think, to audiences watching and people. I think, like, Bananas came off great this season, and if anything, if there are viewers who hated him from the things he's done in the challenge, he might have redeemed himself a little bit here. So I liked his gameplay. I think he did great. And if he would have won, it would have made a lot of sense to me. But now, let's talk about the real winner. And that is Tanisha, who comes from Bad Girls Club. So I already talked about a few of the Tanisha moments I liked through other people involved. But I was so pleasantly surprised that Tanisha won. I do think Bananas was more deserving based on the game that was played, but I wanted Tanisha to win just because she is just so funny and cool and fierce, and I just was team Tanisha early on, and I didn't think she'd win, but you know, Bananas helped her get there, and the jury, just enough of the jury liked her or liked her story or had solidarity with her, whatever it was. But she won, and she won $200,000. She just had such great one-liner and just funny moments. Like, the whole choir thing was obviously hilarious, but also she would be, like, in the closet eating her Subway sandwiches. That was, like, her thing. Like, just eating a sandwich in the closet. It was like, why is that a thing? I'm sure there's, like, a weird production reason maybe, but she just had, like, freaking out about the animals, and the comments she would make about Jax and how fine he was, but stupid, and also, like, a big thing about Tanisha to me was that her makeup and her face, it was just gorgeous. Like, it made me want to, like, put effort into my eyeshadow again, because her makeup looks are just gorgeous, impeccable, and she always looked so good, so put together. She had, like, the blue highlights sometimes. It was, like, so fierce. Every time she was on screen, I was like, damn, Tanisha, that makeup, slay. So I'm obsessed with Tanisha. After this, again, another contestant I did not know before this, aside from, like, her iconic memes. I can't believe that one of her crying, like, that's one of my favorite gifts of all time. And she gave an iconic speech when it was the finalists, like, basically pitching themselves to the jury, Jax was like, damn, that's a Golden Globe level, which, like, okay, Jax. But, yeah, she gave a really compelling speech, and I think that's why, like, Omarosa went for it, New York went for it, and Fisa. Honestly, I think in the end, Tanisha's social game was so strong and she was so likable that enough people were down to vote for her, even though they would probably acknowledge Banana's strategy was better. Tanisha's just so likable. And it just goes to show that, like, even for villains, likability is king, I think. And Tanisha was fiercely loyal to Bananas, her alliance. Apparently their friendship is really real and really strong. And still, like, afterwards, they're really close and go on each other's podcasts. I don't know, I think Bananas has a podcast. And yeah, it was Bananas and Tanisha against the world, really. And it was such an unlikely duo. Like, Tanisha was just such loyalty to Bananas. Like, would be like, we're the duo and we're in this together. And I'm just so happy that neither of them betrayed the other, or sold each other out. That was cute. That was very cute. And she had beef with Omarosa, but, like, she kept trying to come for her, and it took a while, but eventually it worked, and Omarosa was out. But it was fine in the end because she got her jury vote, and that's what matters. So that was House of Villains. Not a super long stream today because I just had, like, slides, or I didn't have, like, that many screenshots and clips because they're a lot harder to find for a show like this that is on cable. But yeah, all in all, I really love this season. It's such a strong cast. I've been sort of following the subreddit for it, and I've seen a lot of positive responses to this cast. A lot of people really want, like, the cast to come back. Even Joel McHale, I think, gave an interview and said, like, if half the cast would want to come back for season 2, I think that could work well because they just had really fun chemistry and diversity, variety, and it was just really, really funny. I think Joel McHale is also just, like, the perfect host for this show. He's such a good, like, asshole, like, comedian. And his quips to them were so funny, insulting their fashion sense. Like, when he said Johnny Fairplay was dressed like the carpet from The Shining, I about lost it. It was so funny. All in all, this show it's the perfect example of a show not taking itself too seriously and, like, understanding what it is. It's, like, about reality TV villains and just really hams it up and plays into that. And I think it could have a great run if the network overlords are down for it. I've seen basically every other post on the subreddit is like, who is your dream cast for season 2? And I don't look at them because there's, like, 5 per day. But there's so many good options, so many I mean, there's a lot of good suggestions on there, I'm sure. I've seen sort of some, but everyone watches different shows too, so, like, not everyone, or it's hard to, like, cast a super diverse show season because you would have to watch a lot of shows to know who's the villain of each show. But there's so many possibilities. And for me, I mentioned Alexis Nyers last time I wore my Alexis Nyers shirt for my video. She's past reality TV stuff, but it'd be funny. Jade from America's Next Top Model would be everything. She's dropped off the face of the earth, so she's hard to find. I saw someone mention, so Abby Lee was like a guest person, and she was being considered for the cast apparently, but the house wasn't accessible enough, ironically, so she didn't end up being cast. But speaking of Abby Lee, someone from season 2 that would be so funny, and I don't know if she'd be down, but it'd be hilarious, is like Kathy from Candy Apples from Dance Moms. I would just about die if she came on here. That would be so funny. That'd be everything. Obviously, given maybe when she gets out of prison, Jen Shaw would be amazing on the show. She's from the Housewives stuff. I mean, she's a real villain. She went to jail for really shady shit, actually. Really evil shit. Also from Drag Race, definitely Gia Gunn, I think, is a no-brainer for this show. Absolutely Gia Gunn. That'd be everything. She's perfect. Who else from reality TV? Who else from, like, Love is Blind is a villain? I mean, Irina, I guess. Or maybe Micah. Was her name Micah? Micah, right? I think Irina is better than Micah because she was more just a villain. Micah had more things going on. But Irina could be fun. She could be the Russian of the season, like Anfisa was. I think she was Russian, right? Or Eastern European. Who else? Trying to think of my reality TV. What other shows do I even watch? I mean, there's more Survivor villains for sure. Russell Hantz is a name that comes up a lot. Which I could see that. There was a whole villain season, so some of the people on that would be great. But Russell was on that tribe. It's just hard, like, not many people beat Fair Play and how slimy he is on Survivor. Definitely some Big Brother representation. I don't know Big Brother, but, like, this is the type of show, I mean, the rules are very similar to Big Brother, so is the type of show that I think should get Big Brother representation just because it's a similar format and the fans would be very similar, honestly. So I've seen a lot of people wish for a Big Brother contestant. I just don't know the villains from that show. Who else have people said? Let me quickly look at the subreddit just in case there's someone, like, that I am missing. But all in all, this was a great season. Great show. Like, they nailed it. If someone knows if how similar The Traitors is to this show, because I'm going to watch season 2 of The Traitors in January. Okay, I see a post with season 2 villains. Oh my god, someone put Jessica from Love is Blind she's not a villain that bad. Who is this guy? That guy is, like, popular right now, right? Like in a bad way. I don't know some of these people. Oh, someone put Aja from Drag Race. Oh, I was thinking of her too from Salt Lake. The one with the, like, that married her stepdad. Kelly Osbourne they put on this list. That's funny. And this is the photo. You know, if you know, you know. Who's gonna clean your toilets, Mr. Trump? Let me see if there's another. Yeah, every other post. Oh, someone put. It's weird. So many people say like, so and so should be on season 2, but they've never been on a reality show. Like, so many people were saying George Santos should be on season 2, but like, he's not on a reality show, y'all. I think they have to be, right? I mean, that makes sense. He's a real life villain like Omarosa was, but she was also from a show. Let's see. A lot of these people I don't recognize. Oh my gosh, someone did put Alexis Nyers, and she's wearing the shirt that I wear. Oh, Nene Leakes. Absolutely, Nene Leakes would be amazing. Oh, one of the Jersey Shore guys. Is this the situation? Sorry, I'm just showing you on my phone. Oh, Big Ed. Big Ed. Yeah, Big Ed would be good. I mean, I didn't know he was a villain. I guess, I don't really know on that show what makes someone a villain. Gordon Ramsay. Parvati. Parvati's too good for this. She's not a villain enough. Dang, someone put someone from the Squid Game show. Like, damn. That was fast. Oh. This is a good one. Oh my god, sorry, my phone is so dirty. Vanessa from Ultimatum. Yes. There he is. George Santos. Jill from Dance Moms. Who are some of these people? Oh, Lisa Rinna, someone said. Dang, that Squid Game guy keeps popping up. What did he do? Tom Sandoval? Yeah, for sure, Tom Sandoval. Oh, that guy from the Kardashians. What's his name? Do y'all know? Sorry, this is quality content. Just showing y'all on my phone. It's like we're in the same room. Abby Lee Miller. Oh, Robin from America's Next Top Model. Ebony from America's Next Top Model, yeah. Bianca. I was gonna say Bianca. Who is that? Oh, someone from Bad Girls Club, someone from The Challenge. I don't watch that. Scott Disick. Honestly, let them cook. That'd be a good one. And he needs the money, right? See, someone put Perez Hilton on this list. It's like, yes, he's a villain, but was he on a show? Question mark? Janice Dickinson. Ooh, that'd be a good one. Someone put Michael Lohan. See, y'all. I get he's a villain, but he's not on a show. Jamie Lynn Spears. Again, she's not on a reality show. Frankie Grande. Damn, was he a villain on Big Brother? Wasn't there that really shady Bachelor guy? Sorry, my thing is like kind of laggy. I'll get off here in a sec. Am I back? I don't know. I'll get off here. Someone said Azalea Banks. Again, not on a show, but I enjoy the creativity, y'all. If y'all have any other thoughts on season 2 potential for House of Villains, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that was House of Villains. Let me know what you thought of season 1 as a whole. I would love to hear about it. Sorry, my thing is a little laggy. And I hope y'all have happy holidays. This is my last stream for probably the year. Thanks so much if you participated in Live Miss leading up to Christmas this year in December. I'll be back strong in January because there's a lot coming out and a lot I'll be watching. So subscribe if you want to stay updated. Or follow me at Miscellaneous on Instagram or Twitter. Mostly Instagram's where I post about new videos, new live streams. And yeah, I hope y'all have had a good 2023 and have happy holidays and a happy new year. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.